After nearly 5 years, Fortnite Mobile is finally back. Before this game returned, the last update we got was all the way back in Chapter 2, Season 3. However, over the past 1700 days, mobile happened to still exist on Android devices and other services like cloud gaming, so the game was basically still getting updates over these past few years. Now, because of this, today I'm going to be breaking down everything new in Fortnite Mobile since Chapter 2, Season 3. There's a bunch of secret features and changes I know for a fact that you guys are not going to know about, so make sure you guys watch until the very end to make sure you guys are fully educated with everything that has changed with this game. So yeah, let's get right on into it. All right, now the first update is one that I actually can't unfortunately show you, but the party hub has actually now been removed from Fortnite Mobile. You guys have probably already noticed this. I personally didn't use this. I don't really know anyone that did use this, but if you guys do care, that has since been removed from Fortnite Mobile. All right, but anyways, I want to basically go over one of the most important parts of Fortnite Mobile, and that is the HUD layout tool. A lot of people look at this and they're like, all right, not much has changed with the HUD layout tool, but surprisingly, there has been a ton of changes that Epic has made to this HUD layout tool that you guys probably don't even know about. First off, I want to go over this brand new button that is honestly a game changer for a lot of people, and I'll show you guys why. If you don't know what this button is, it's basically an auto fire on/off button. I know what you guys are thinking, all right, Golden, why are you saying this is the game changer? Auto fires for bots. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I don't know if you guys know, but auto fire can be pretty good in certain situations, but it can also be pretty bad in others. I'll show you guys a situation where it's bad. So here you guys can see I got on this map to show you guys this. This is when you're using an AR with auto fire. It doesn't really know when to stop shooting. It keeps shooting. However, where auto fire can be pretty good is where you get really close up. If you get close up like this, you can just, break this wall, not even think about it, bang. It is pretty good close range. So I personally feel like this button is a massive addition to Fortnite Mobile. All right, but beyond that new button, let's go into more of the HUD settings. So here you can see another new setting is you can now make buttons borderless. I don't know how it took this long to do this, but you can finally remove the borders on the buttons. And here you can see how it looks in game. It looks way better, super clean. Overall, it is nice to see that we can finally remove the borders and just make our HUD look a lot cleaner. Now, another new button I do want to quickly talk about is this super sprint button, which if you guys did not know is a new feature in Fortnite. You can basically sprint super fast. This along with like mantling and all the other stuff they added. I just want to let you guys know that you are going to have to find a spot on your HUD layout tool for this sprint button because this is a super important thing to use in Fortnite. Now, another new feature with the HUD layout tool is this new option called click through. You can check click through on or off on almost any button, I'm pretty sure. Now, what this new feature does is if you have it checked, basically when you press and hold the button, you can see I'm holding the jump button here. You can use the button to keep holding and look around on your screen. It's kind of weird, but this is another new feature of the HUD layout tool. This feature, I don't know how it took this long to get added, but you can finally move around your FPS counter and actually make it bigger. So if you want to make a massive FPS counter like this, you guys can do this. If you really care about what your frames are, then you could plop this at the top of your screen. I don't know. The move stick has some brand new settings you can see here. They're all pretty self-explanatory. If you mess around, I'm sure you guys will figure it out, but there's a zone padding of your auto run button, which you can now add. Before, you used to have to actually double tap your joystick to auto run. Now you can have the option to just swipe up and hold and it will be able to auto run for you. This is another new feature that they have added since Chapter 2 Season 3. Reset stick position, pretty self-explanatory. Dynamic stick, what this does is basically you can move around your joystick wherever you want. So if you tap the screen all the way over here, your joystick will now go in the middle of the screen, which looks kind of weird, but you guys can now use that feature. Now, this next feature, I really don't know how to feel about, but it's definitely a funny feature to say the least. Now with the ping button, here you guys can see, you guys can obviously ping something like that. You can now actually drag your finger and you can see you can literally move the marker wherever you want on the screen. I'm not gonna lie, the animation for this is super funny to me. I don't know why, it's just some weird little blue line that comes from the ping button, but you can basically choose to mark anything. So if you want to mark that gun, I'm like, all right, that pump shotgun's looking good. Bang, let it go, and there it is, marked it. But anyways, another really small feature that I still do want to mention. Now when you run out of ammo, your shoot button and reload button will both be grayed out to basically indicate that you can't shoot. A very basic feature, but I just want to let you guys know they literally just added this. I'm pretty sure like an update ago. This next new button that I do feel like needs talking about, because I know a lot of you guys are going to want to use this button. This right here is called the simple edit button. Now, simple edit is a new setting that Fortnite has added to the game. You can find it right here, simple edit right here. Turn that on if you guys want to use it. But simple edit is basically for the people that are not that good at editing. Now, be honest, if you guys aren't that good at editing, I totally get it. Or if you guys want to edit faster, there are some good players that actually do use this. So I'm not going to hate on you guys if you use this. But basically what it does is it will automatically edit your building piece based on where you're looking. So if I want a window right there, or in that case it did that. This is why I don't use simple edit. It randomly will mess up. But you guys can see it basically will automatically edit for you. You can do an edit like that. You can do an edit like that. But there is this brand new button that you can basically toggle simple edit with. Again, I'm not really a big fan of simple edit because it does mess up a lot, but if you guys do want to use this or at least try this feature, make sure you guys enable this button on your HUD. Heading back to the HUD layout though, you guys can also notice that all of the presets besides the brand new default HUD, by the way, yes, they did make a brand new default HUD now, but basically they have now removed the Builder Pro, Combat Pro, and Old School HUD presets. If you guys did not know, there were 3 other HUD presets you guys could select on the top here. Now, I personally don't know anyone that actually used those presets, but if you guys did use those presets, I'm sorry to let you know that they have now since been removed from Fortnite, but hopefully you saved your HUD and you should be good to go. But anyways, the last feature I want to talk about that is new for the HUD layout tool is basically just the fact that there is now a bunch of new HUD modes that you guys are going to unfortunately have to probably eventually set up. They now have these new things like the jam mode. They obviously got all this new stuff like the Scout Falcon, but I'm just letting you guys know it does suck that there is a whole lot of new modes that you guys are going to have to deal with, at least probably eventually. All right, but now I want to go on into the brand new settings that have been added to Fortnite Mobile because there is a bunch. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to bore you guys with the most boring settings, like the small stuff that nobody really cares about, because obviously, like literally just scrolling through here, there's probably a bunch of new settings that weren't in the game back in Chapter 2, Season 3, but I'm going to go over the most important ones, and trust me, there is some very, very important ones you guys are going to want to mess with. First off, this is definitely one of the most long-awaited settings in all of Fortnite Mobile history. We finally got auto-confirm edits as a setting. You could set it to edit, reset, or both. Guys, this is massive. You know what else is massive? The reason this is such a big deal is basically now when you edit, you can literally just edit here, tap that little edit button, let go, and bang. You don't have to confirm it. You can literally just release this button on the right side and bang. You can obviously also do it with the reset button if you want, so you can basically like reset your button, let it go, and it'll automatically reset. But now I genuinely love this feature. This is definitely one of the best features Fortnite's added in a while. It just makes editing feel so much smoother. Now, on the topic of editing, another new setting, this is actually a whole Fortnite setting. This isn't just for mobile, but I just want to let you guys know in case you're unaware, you can now finally disable the pre-edit option. I personally have had this on for literally 2 years. I think since they added it, I've had it on. Next, we got 3 new fire modes settings. The first one is combined ADS plus fire. If you guys have this on press, what this basically does is when you press your fire button, you guys can see my fire button right there. When you press your fire button, it will now automatically scope, and you guys can see my hands free. I'm not pressing the scope button at all. It looks like I'm pressing it, but I'm not. This just combines your fire button with scoping in. So if you guys want to quickly shoot and scope in at the same time, this is definitely a very useful setting to have. The next setting I will show you guys is this continuous fire. Now to show you guys this, I'm going to show you guys first without it on. So here you can see with the pump shotgun, if you hold your fire button, you guys can see the pump shotgun is going to stop shooting. You got to, obviously tap the fire button again to shoot it. But if you actually enable continuous fire, now with semi-auto weapons like the pump shotgun, you guys can hold your fire button and the pump will basically keep on shooting without you having to tap it again. I think I'm going to keep it on for now and see how I like it, but there is a chance I will turn it off. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't want to have this on. It just seems like a basic feature to have, but I don't know. Now, this last setting, I'm not even going to show you. It's pretty self-explanatory, but release to fire, it's basically where when you release your fire button or your scope button, your sniper will automatically shoot. You can test this out if you want. I personally, again, don't like the setting, but if you guys like it, you can mess around with it. Now, we're heading on over to the game UI tab. You guys can see we have this new setting called button pulse animation. You guys probably have already seen it in the background, but basically what this does is I'll show you guys with my AR. Once I start shooting, watch my reload. You guys can see the reload button basically lets off this little wave of like showing you that you're about to run out of ammo. They've added a first person mode sensitivity option in the settings tab for mobile players as well. Unfortunately, the only official Epic Games first person mode, Ballistic, that mode that's basically like CSGO and Fortnite, that mode currently doesn't actually work on Fortnite Mobile, which I know is sad, but I do know for a fact that Epic is actually working on adding that mode to Fortnite Mobile very, very soon by adding HUD support. But for now, if you guys want to play the creative first person maps, you guys can actually mess with your first person mode sensitivity all the way up to 500%, which is kind of crazy. This is another pretty small update, but I just want to let you guys know you can now change the damage number scale on mobile. I'm just going to quickly show you guys how the setting works. So if I put the damage number scale to 62, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Basically, you guys can see that 26 damage is just super tiny. All right, now this next setting is going to seem super small, but personally, this is a very, very big deal for me. It's fully a visual thing, but I don't know why. This one really pissed me off. They basically removed the touch interaction mode here for in-world. Now, if you personally played like me with the in-world touch interaction mode on, you guys probably instantly noticed there's now these massive icons on all the weapons. Some of you guys played with these on, but I personally just thought it looked super annoying, so I was like, all right, I obviously don't want this on my game. And you can choose to turn them off. You can turn touch interaction mode to off. Now you guys can see this is how Fortnite Mobile used to look. There's none of those large, massive icons on your screen. However, when you do this, you now basically can't can't tap on weapons to pick them up. Like you guys can see, here's me tapping on the weapons. You can't pick them up with that. You literally have to use your pickup button, which obviously there's a massive pile of loot. You're not going to be able to pick up like a small little gun by just, you know, trying to tap it with your interact or pickup button. So you're essentially forced to turn on the easy interact option. But I just feel like these huge icons are way too unnecessary. Like I don't want to see every single gun icon on my screen. But anyway, it's not that big of a deal. I just want to let you guys know. But the next thing that I'm going to talk about, there is a bunch of new gyro settings on Fortnite Mobile. There's a bunch of new customizable things. You can basically fully customize gyro settings, which you guys didn't know. Basically, it lets you kind of like move your phone around to look around, kind of like it's a VR headset. I don't know. It's just super weird to me, but there is a bunch of new settings in case you guys are interested in that. But anyways, we're now coming up on the final changes of Fortnite Mobile. Now, this next one, I personally am not going to deal with this issue, but I do believe this will be a pretty big deal for certain phone players especially. And it's the fact that now this bar at the bottom, this little bar you guys swipe here, you guys probably aren't going to notice a difference, but now you can basically instantly swipe out of Fortnite like that. Now you might be confused, like what am I talking about? How is that different? Like isn't that always how it should be? You just swipe up to swipe out of an app. But let me show you how it used to be. I'll give you an example with Minecraft here. I'll open up Minecraft. In Minecraft, you can see the bar automatically fades out at the bottom like that. And you have to basically swipe up once and then swipe up again to swipe out. That's how any game should be, because obviously you don't want to accidentally swipe out of the app while you're like moving around your screen or something. But Fortnite made a new update where for some reason it no longer is like that. Now you can literally instantly swipe up, which again on an iPad, it's pretty hard to do that. But for all my phone players out there, anyone dealing with this issue, you guys can get around this by using guided access mode right here. You guys can open the setting, enable it. What guided access basically does, it lets you triple tap your power button, and then you guys can hit start right here. And now it will basically not allow you to physically swipe out of your app. Even if you wanted to, you guys can see it fully gets rid of that swipe out button. Obviously, you can triple tap your power button again to exit if you guys are stuck in this. But basically, because for whatever reason, Epic decided it was a good idea to get rid of that ability to, you know, not instantly swipe out of your app. This is now, unfortunately, the method you guys are going to have to do if you guys are having issues with swiping out of your app. So yeah, boys, believe it or not, that is basically everything new that has been added to Fortnite Mobile and changed over the past 4 years. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying Fortnite now that it's back on iOS. I personally have been having a blast. I've literally been waiting on this for 4 years, so it's super exciting to be able to make content and play this game again. But yeah, if this video did help you guys, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys dropped a like down below before you left. But either way, guys, this has been golden. Do with this information as you will, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.